Welcome back to the Refined Lad. You guys already know how we do things around here. I just want to say the last month has been an absolute whirlwind for me, and just a few things as we're getting things prepared for our family business. We have some new devices here that we're bringing to the community and the public, and we're really excited for those. As well as I officially moved out of my parents' house about a month ago, so yeah, significant changes for sure, but just like everything, growth is inevitable. Today, I want to talk to you guys about self abandonment. Where we last left off, we talked about kind of just embracing change, right? Allowing ourselves to grow and evolve, and kind of like the relationship that we have to ourselves. So, I could come on here and tell you guys that the core wound of abandonment has to deal with people around you. It has to deal with the environmental factors. It has to deal with, maybe the way your parents treated you. But I feel like a lot of that is just regurgitated over and over again. And part of this channel is that I want you guys to be able to think deeper for yourselves. Because everybody has the capacity to think deeper when they're given the right topic or circumstances and they want to make that motivation to change, right? And work on it. So, this aspect, as far as I'm concerned, of self abandoning coming from everybody around you and it's kind of out of your hands, I don't like feeding into that. And I'm not discounting trauma, just to get that out of the way. But what I am saying is that there's a strong victim mentality that I found, even in myself, in the past, where it's kind of been like, well, it wasn't up to me that I got abandoned. It wasn't up to me that happened, and therefore, I don't have that responsibility. But something about the growth process is that yes, I take, my broom to my side of the street, right? I sweep my side of the street and I keep it clean. But then there's the other aspect of it that even in areas that I may not be fully responsible for, especially as a man, I should be held accountable for. Because I'm supposed to be that grounding energy, right? That masculine presence, that calmness in the chaos. The fortress that's withstanding the hurricanes and tornadoes. I mean, we got this storm going on right now in the Midwest, and kind of just picture that. That's what we should be. And so I take accountability for the things that I need to take accountability for. And I also know that it's a process. One perspective that you might be able to shift to is a place of asking yourself when in your own life you've abandoned yourself. So, another way of viewing it simply is by me abandoning my own needs, I'm now more susceptible to attracting that emotion, that frequency into my life. And it really has to deal with not just the lack of boundaries, but not knowing self-care, right? Not knowing how I would like to be treated or how I desire to be treated, right? But something really powerful about the subconscious, and I don't know if I shared this before, is that if you look at the data, right, the scientific data for the subconscious mind, our subconscious has absolutely no idea of time, right? The concept of time to the subconscious is completely foreign. And so that can be a good and bad thing. It's a good thing because it means that nothing is ever solidified, right? Nothing's ever solidified in the brain. We can develop neuroplasticity where we rewire, new neural pathways. We focus on our core beliefs and we find ways to reintegrate the proper way of looking at things. But then the bad side of that is because the subconscious is such a protective mechanism, when we're encountering something, even if it's the most minuscule thing, perhaps, like in today's age, when you message somebody, right? Let's say you shoot off a text and you don't hear back from that person and you get like all in your head, right? That anxiety inducing state. That could look like abandonment. And unknowingly, that could trigger a time that you wanted to be heard, whether it was by a parent or maybe it was by a teacher or maybe it was by a friend. But that's the bad aspect of it is your brain's, because the subconscious is such a comfortable form, until we learn to become self-aware and to reintegrate the correct patterns and get rid of the negative ones, Our subconscious state is always in this place of just feeling comfortable. This is why growth and healing in itself is an uncomfortable position to even be in. So your subconscious could be reacting to something that happened, an event that happened when you were 6 years old. You name the situation XYZ, because it doesn't know the difference. And I just want to say too, because it's a self-protection mechanism, I don't fault any of you for using it. And again, going back to myself, I myself am not infallible. I struggle with the same things that a lot of you guys do. This is like our journey. This isn't just my journey. But it's from this point that we make little progress. It isn't about a change overnight. It's about the little things. So kind of the way that I look at it is it happened, you learn from it, and you evolve. And you evolve into that journey to yourself with respect to yourself, your needs, your desires, your self-care. And obviously, subjecting that to God. I'm not saying to be egotistical or narcissistic, but a lot of us ignore those things. And so that's something we need to take into consideration. So the danger of abandonment is that it is a form of people pleasing. In order for me to have my needs met, I meet somebody else's needs. And what's so dangerous about this is that even if you're hesitant to do something that, maybe you don't agree with, you'll still do it anyways, because somehow there's a pattern or a thought process that says, if I give this person this thing, then when the time comes and I need the same thing returned, it will be given to me. But the issue with this is that that's never fully discussed. So I talk about a school briefly that I'm taking. It's called the Personal Development School. This isn't a paid sponsorship or anything like that. I've just been really impressed with the work that they have. You can usually sign up for a 7-day free trial. I will drop the link below in the captions for you guys. But Coach Thais, that founded the entire institute, it's all online coursework, modules, you name it. There's tens of thousands of them, and it really, my highest regard, best recommendation is when you get to the website, take the free attachment style quiz, see where you fall. I thought that I was a secure attachment, primary secure attachment, like 100% or majority. And we have a secondary attachment style, which mine is, a little more avoidant. And so the goal is that we want to strike balance where we become 100% secure. But again, it's about the little progress. So I'll drop the link below for you guys. Make sure you check it out. It has been absolutely wonderful to be able to regard, and she goes much more in depth with this stuff than I can currently. So Coach Thais talks about how that aspect, right, of I do something for you and I hope that you'll give it to me in return later on. And it's not so much a hope. I shouldn't say hope. It's more of an expectation that's placed, a demand. I expect this to be given back because this is what I do for others. Not to mention, from a philosophical standpoint, that's kind of not what we want to be doing. We want to be introducing love because we have love to give, right? We don't want to be introducing love to be conditional. And if you meet this criteria, then you get what you're looking for, right? But she calls this term, she calls it covert contracts. And it's possible that this could have been discussed somewhere else in psychology, but this is where I heard it from her first. So covert contract is this kind of gray area. And it kind of reminds me a lot of, if you're in a relationship, especially nowadays, because there's so many people who are like a lack of commitment and unserious and wishy-washy, that unless two people are able to effectively communicate with each other, and they can be good people, they can be people that are toxic, they can be people that are coming from a bad background, that relationship will not last. Because if expectations aren't discussed, they're not really expectations, they're a one-sided demand, if you really think about it. Another symptom that you might feel for somebody who, is dealing with this abandonment, right, or struggles with people-pleasing, is those of us who do that, we tend to feel extremely burnt out, and we get in this state of mind. You could be the most caring, loving, kind individual with people 24/7, but then We talk about how important energy is on this channel and how much you expend into others. And you should pour out to others, but you should also respect your own boundaries. But when this happens, when the tank is empty and someone irritates us, we then just kind of go off, or we go into a meltdown, or we have this switched emotional state because now we're saying, you're not giving me back the same thing that I gave to you. And then we act surprised, right? And at times we can project this on our own family members and friends or coworkers, spouses, you name it. And that's also not something we want to do, because that's us projecting our own issues onto somebody else, right? People aren't a canvas where you can just throw, hurl insults and words and say terrible things about each other, and just because you're feeling a certain way. So that's part of the equation. Self-improvement's all well and good, but we got a big day ahead of us tomorrow. Let's get some rest. And we've now officially are about to be on our way. Heading to a concert. Got my boy Eli here.
Yes, sir.
And we got about a 3.5 hour drive. So we made it to the venue. As you can see, it's an abandoned warehouse. The whole scene is an abandoned warehouse. Definitely not what I was expecting. But we made it. We made it in time. Guys, we got the muy delicioso American Denny's late night snack. 2 sunny side up, sausage and bacon, just like I like it. Man here got a burger. Any commentary on the concert, sir?
I didn't expect the people to get on stage and just like jump into the crowd and attack the artist. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, so actually what's really wild about that is we go to a lot of metal shows, Eli and I, but that was like an actual metal show. Like, people are actually getting in the mosh and like twirling their arms and legs around. Some dude literally got roundhouse kicked to the head. 2 minutes in, bro. Like, just quit while you're at it, if that's your first experience of a metal show. But no, had a good time. Like to do stuff that's adventurous, like to switch things up every once in a while. Definitely 10 out of 10. What I wanted to kind of just end off with, both did business school together, so on the topic, revisiting back to the topic of self-abandonment, what are the dangers per se of neglecting yourself in the business world, like not taking care of yourself?
You know, a lot of times I've watched people just like running businesses, or they have a vision and they end up, selling out, going away from that vision, losing themselves in that just so that they can make a few bucks, or maybe they think it might be better to sell to another company. They might not have as much motivation. They get switched up on. They're like, oh, I can make more money, chasing this popular thing right now, but this isn't actually truly what I love. And then, at that point, they're just trying to go in for the money. It's not because they actually love it. And then that really just pulls them away from what truly matters at the end of the day, is making something that you care about and what you love, and something that means something to you.
In regards to that, you and I both have seen people growing up, like even especially in college, that how they were perceived, I guess, in the business world. Like, I can think of a few people offhand, and maybe you could as well, but in regards to with a lack of boundaries in business, like negatively, how might that impact like your profile as somebody in business, whether you're a man or a woman?
Like the boundaries and stuff, I feel like it's important to be able to set those boundaries, and if you're just completely open and completely just not holding back at all, people can take advantage of you for that, and you lose like an upper hand. You're kind of giving up all of your traits and letting other people take from it. And
yeah,
these people that are out to look at someone else and beat them to it, there's always going to be competition, and that competition is going to look at you and just find out ways to take advantage. And I think that would, it can really cause a negative effect.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you sharing.
Yes, sir.
Guys, make sure you as usual, like the video, comment below if you got any questions or you just want to leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.